Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to Happy Friday! Hi everybody, I'm calling this my Happy Friday show from now on because we are both on Facebook and YouTube, so we can't just call it Facebook Friday. So it's a Happy Friday. It should always be a Happy Friday. And of course, mine is going to get a little bit happier with my cocktail of the day. This time, I really just needed a basic margarita. But of course, I can't do anything basic. So this is a ginger pineapple margarita. And it's really simple, actually. The key ingredient is a ginger syrup instead of the triple sec or orange liqueur that you usually put in a margarita. Otherwise, it's tequila, ginger, liqueur, and I can tell you some good brands to get. And then little splash of pineapple juice, a little bit of lime juice, and then if you want to just kind of soften it up a little bit because it is strong, a little splash of sparkling water. But I will post the recipe in the crew later on after the show. I couldn't get it together before the show. It's been a busy week, so cheers everybody. Happy Friday. I wanted to just start it off with announcing our winner from last week. I asked you what's your favorite tree, and a winner is Bobby Christopher. Congratulations, you get a $25 gift card to the GE Quilt Design store. Her favorite tree is a northern red oak is her favorite tree. Beautiful. I love big, strong oaks too. So loved all your suggestions. I loved all your favorites. Of course, here in Minnesota, we can't grow all of them successfully. So I will just have to hopefully sometime get back to traveling and see all those gorgeous trees. But yes, it's been a busy week. A lot going on in my community, and I want to talk about that a little bit later. But we actually decided we needed a little bit of a break. So I have been working nonstop since March. Yes, I've been at home, but it's been busy. And I tend to always keep busy when I am at home, and it's hard to sometimes cut between a business and then shut the door on business and be at home relaxing. And so when you enjoy your job so much, it's sometimes just hard to stop. And I've been feeling it a little bit. I've been feeling like I need a little bit of a break. So what did we do this morning? We decided I filled some orders last night. And then this morning we got out on a Minnesota lake. In the middle of the lake, it was cold. Yes, it was kind of freezing. It was 50s, but wind in my hair. We got some wind in our hair. Well, I did, not Mr. Producer. But a quilt came along, and so we had a couple of hours out on the lake and got some extra oxygen, heard some birds, just the water, and I'm so much better. So much better. So all you need is just a little nature, a little bit break, and so that needs to happen more often. So I feel so much better after that. So cheers to that. By the way, this margarita is tasty. If you like ginger, it's very tasty. So, but the major thing that we have going on this week, and actually launching today, you might have seen snippets of it today, we posted this morning, was this idea that actually my friend Terry Atkinson came up with. She was watching a some kind of a cooking show or a cooking channel, and because all of these chefs were now quarantined at home, and they did these tours of chefs' kitchens, their actual home kitchens, and kind of like real time, so not staged or studio presented or how you stage an area for a photo shoot, but they just came into their own kitchens and shot the videos with their own phones and stuff. And she thought that was so interesting and thought it would be really cool to do it with a designer, our studios, our real spaces that we actually create and design in and work in. And so we kind of put our heads together and decided this would be really fun, which usually happens when me and Terry are in close proximity or even on the phone or anything. We come up with fun stuff. So we decided that we were going to do this studio tour, but conditions. So let's be real. No cleaning up, no decluttering spaces, no, just you may hide stuff that possibly people are not allowed to see yet. But so we actually just put the call out there to some of our designer friends, and a lot of them jumped in the pool, in the scary Let's Be Real pool, and recorded a video. And so we also put some parameters. We wanted it to be short because we wanted you guys to be able to visit everybody and get through all those videos, and it wouldn't take a day. So we tried to limit it to about 3 minutes max. And so mine was really, really fast, if you noticed. If you haven't seen it, I thought I would just play it for you now. This is my studio tour. But here's the deal. I want you to go after the show. Don't go yet. After the show, go to my blog. So it's on my website under the link blog. And that's where you can also watch my video again. But it also has links to all of the designers that participated. And all you have to do is click on it and you'll see their tours. And you can visit with them and like them, follow them, do whatever you want to do. But it's really, really fun to see where the real magic happens, where we truly create. Because honestly, we don't create on studio sets. So check out my studio tour. Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs, and this is going to be a really, really quick studio tour. It's called the Let's Be Real studio tour that I'm hosting with Terry Atkinson and lots of other designers. So here's where I create. This is my sewing table. It used to host my sewing machine for 17 years. I just got this one so it doesn't fit in the table, so it's sitting on top. Temporary situation. I will get a bigger table that fits this amazing machine. Baby Locks Hilarious in there. I have my embroidery unit because this is the first time I've had a embroidery machine. My oldest piece of furniture that I moved with me from Iceland. I don't know why it's there. It's something about it that keeps it there. I have my design wall here, big 8x8. On the other side of my sewing table is my Singer 301. Massive piecing machine. Love it, love it, love it. She's getting a little jealous because Sola's getting used more. I have also these nesting tables that were my grandparents that came over here in a suitcase because I really love them and they are just precious to me. I have my ironing station over here. I love these big windows because I get lots of light. I love storage, so I put my ironing board on top of drawers. And of course, this top here has been meant to be replaced because it's really bad, but you know, we're busy, so it hasn't happened. I got some thread and then I got my fabric over here. It's pretty organized, so I've got 10-inch squares and yardage all over here, and then we get into some strips in these drawers over here. My cutting table is in the middle of the room, and I'm busy. I'm working on some step-outs and things, but I love having different surfaces to go and cut if I have a few things going on at the same time. And then more fabric over here. I got my fat quarters. Here I have been shopping, so this, I need to get more tubs, so this doesn't fit in there. This shelf is my the biggest rotating shelf. When I get fabric from fabric companies and I have a plan for them, they go here. So these will become quilts. So I have a whole set over here, and everything that comes with a video set and multiple cameras, of course, is the dreaded spaghetti on the floor and Unnecessarily Evil, and I can't stand it personally. But you will also see my desk. This is where I write my patterns. And the other desk is Mr. Honey Producer, and he will take care of all of the technology stuff. And what is the sewing room without a pile of quilts on the floor? Unfortunately, always there because they're on rotation. But I gotta get back to work. I hope you enjoyed it, and I gotta go. So see you later. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was super, super fast. Zoomed through it, of course. And we had to edit a little bit because when I start talking, sometimes I can't stop. So I want to just list the names of all the amazing people that did this too. And, you know, some of them may even have a commercial studio that they go to every day and they don't really sew at home. So during this COVID quarantine, they've had to kind of sew in a different space that they're not used to. So, but of course, check my blog out and link to all these people. So we have Terry Atkinson, we have Annie Unrein of Annie's Master Bag Maker, we have Miss Celine Perkins of Perkins Dry Goods, we have Deanne Eisenman, We have Debbie Brown, of course. We know her very well. Katie Cameron, she's over across the pond in the UK. We have Nancy Scott, Pat Sloan, Sherry Butler, Sherry Cifaldi-Morrill, Scott Hansen, Lynn Carson Harris, Bonnie Hunter, Shelly Lynn Peterson, and Lee Chappelle Monroe, Kathy Southern, and Helen Stubbings over in Australia. So it's lots of fun to kind of check in. I was kind of sneaking and watching all those videos this morning and getting some ideas from my own. But I would love to check in with you if you have questions on anything in my area. Well, one of the things that I love about this space is, of course, the space. This is the biggest studio space I've ever had to sew in. However, the furniture and all of my stuff is the furniture that I've been using for over 10 years. So that has come with me. This is the fourth house that this furniture and this kind of, my sewing tables, my cutting table, my shelves, they have traveled with me for now 4 houses. And so there have been a lot smaller spaces that I've been sewing in through those 4 houses, believe me. But it somehow always works. And so there are things that I can see I would like to add in here, a little bit more storage. I like my fabric on open shelves, but I sometimes would love to shut other stuff away, stuff you need to have close by, but I don't like the clutter of it. So I would like a little bit more storage, and most of the time it's of course connected with the whole studio set, the clutter that comes with that. But if you have any questions on anything, I know I had a question on my shelves, what kind of shelves those were, because and these are IKEA shelves. They're the Billy bookcases. They're perfect because they're 11 inches deep, and if you fold fabric and you fold it in half, it's about 11, and it just fits really great on the shelves. So, Jeanette is asking, can we then get a tour of the store and the shipping area? Yeah, we can do that. It's it's overcrowded these days, I tell you that. Luckily, our fabric doesn't stop very long, because otherwise it would not be any room for it. But I will do that. It's pretty organized as well. It needs to be, otherwise we will all go crazy. Okay, ironing spot. So Mary's asking about my ironing spot. There's not a particular question about it, but you know how you have your ironing boards, the typical ironing boards with the legs on the bottom, and I feel like we want a big ironing space, and I wanted to have a big surface so that I could lay my full folded fabric and iron that whole piece. So it's about, I would say, 24 to 25 inches deep, and it's about 40 to 45 inches wide. So I can get a good yard easy and more and iron that, so I can easily iron my yardage. And so what I did, I just took a piece of plywood, and I put the Insulbrite, I think, a layer of Insulbrite, another layer of batting, and then I covered it with fabric, and I just stapled it. And then I put it on top of a dresser. So just a cheap IKEA dresser. It used to have casters on it, but the IKEA quality wood couldn't quite handle that, and me moving it all the time back and forth. So I took the casters off. But I love that space underneath, because I've been in such small spaces before. I love that it's utilized. So I have those drawers underneath for storage, and it's not just an empty space, not really, and a cluttered looking space. Where and how do I sandwich my quilts? Well, most of the time it's a long armor that does that with my big quilts. Now, if I do happen to if I do some quilting on my smaller ones, it happens on the ironing board. So I will just, sandwich my quilts there. I'll do the backing, and, whether I'm doing just a fusible with the iron or spraying, I'll do it on the ironing board. If the quilt is wider than the ironing board, which is rare because I usually don't quilt anything myself if it's bigger than a crib size quilt, I actually have done it on my design wall. Now, if you don't have a design wall, believe me, I've done it on the floor multiple times. So you just make it work.
What is your cutting
Somebody's asking what's my cutting table. So my cutting table and my sewing table, where you put the machine used to fit in, that is Tracy. Both of them are Tracy's tables, and so they were custom built. Well, they have like, you order them, you can order them at different heights. I'm really short, so you have 3 heights of the cutting table to choose from. So I chose what fits me perfectly. So that's really important to make note of. Now, if you are short though and are working on a standard height cutting table, like a counter height, one little trick is get those foam mats. You can get those foam mats that you at like Costco and things, and it will raise you up about an inch, and it really helps. And even just putting on shoes, like tennis shoes, it will raise you another inch. So I know all those tricks.
What's your design wall made of?
What's my design wall made of? So it's insulation boards from Home Depot or Lowe's. So I actually get the 2-inch thick ones, and they're 4 by 8 feet. It's 2 of them. I duct tape them together, and then I wrap them in flannel. I like flannel. I've done batting before, but I prefer flannel for, I don't know why. I just think it's neater too, because I can take my lint roller and roll off all those threads, and it kind of gives me a clear slate, clean slate. So I actually just got, you can get just flannel sheets that are, king size sheets, and just wrap that whole thing. I actually happened to just order a bolt of extra white flannel, and I put 1 layer on it. I think I would next time probably put 2 layers, to get a little more cushioning, but I actually like being able to, the foam boards, you can pin into them. And so it's really great. And I actually use it sometimes if I need a flat shot of a quilt or a table runner or something. It's the perfect tool for that, because I can pin things and kind of almost, if runners are sometimes not laying straight or completely straight, you can kind of stretch them and pin them so that they are perfectly straight. So I really love using that design wall. Now I have the space to have it so it's 8 by 8, which is awesome. So I can fit a really big quilt on there. But I've worked in multiple spaces, so I've never had that big of a design wall before. I've usually just worked with just 1 sheet. And other places I've had to cut them apart so they're 2 horizontals, because I had like about 5 feet of space. So work with whatever you can. So it works. Arlene is asking, what size is your 3-drawer plastic storage? I bought one, but the 10-inch squares, okay, I scrolled over it. 10-inch squares something. Oh, 10-inch squares don't lay flat. Outside measurements were 13 by 11. Okay, so would you grab me one of those 3 drawers with the strips? And then grab one of the tubs with the 10-inch squares. So I have I don't store the 10-inch squares in the drawers. They are in tubs that I get at Target. Both of them I get at Target. The drawers are Stairlight, and so the strips go in those like that. I've showed these before, and it's perfect because I can stand them upright. The square, no, they're on the other end. So like this. So I stand them up on end. So I fold them in half. They're folded in half, and so so you can see them this way, and I can also easily see from here the color, what it is. And so it's pretty. These drawers I've had them for years. So I've had these drawers for probably 10 years, more, 15 years. Because they just work perfectly for my strips. So these are always on rotation. So if I've had these for 20 years, there's probably strips in there that are that old, and that's okay. They will get used at some point. The 10-inch squares, this is actually a recent discovery. These are craft storage containers, carton storage containers by Easy Storage. So they are almost 12 by 12, so 11.8 by 11.8. They have 2 different depths. This is the deeper ones. They have shorter ones, which they didn't have in stock when I was getting them. So I have my layer cakes. They're organized by color. So do you want to show the overhead maybe? And I can show you these. This was not on the plan, but for today's show. So I have like my dark navies here. So, and then I just include one of the cardboards that you get in the layer cake. So that is kind of to divide up my colors. So here's dark, and then here's the next group of colors. So you can have multiple in a tub, but just separated by these cardboards, and they still all lay flat and pretty neat. And you can, from the outside, you can see what's in the box easily.
I bombed your video. Everybody's saying hi.
You bombed it? What did you do?
I waved behind your head.
Oh gosh, I didn't notice that. Oh, there it is. Fun stuff. Now y'all got to see Mr. Honey Producer. I know you were dying to see him, right?
Not really.
Not really? Okay, do we have any other questions? I can't see the questions. There's a silly guy in your studio set.
What's up on the label?
Rebel behavior is encouraged. Yes, absolutely. Love your storage setup. That's great. Organized. And love the bins for the 10-inch squares. Yeah, when I showed those bins for the first time, I think this was on a Tipsy Tuesday about 2-3 months ago. I guess Target ran out all over the country. So hopefully they're restocked by now. So maybe we can get some more. Okay, somebody's asking, would you recommend buying more 10-inch squares versus 5-inch squares?
5-inch squares.
5-inch squares versus 10-inch squares. So here's the deal. If you buy 10-inch squares, of course you can always cut them down to 5. So there's more options with the 10-inch squares, with the layer cakes. If you have a certain, like I have a little affinity of making things out of a charm pack, like my runners and stuff. So I love those because they're just little and cute too. But, you know, I always just recommend, if you have the Stripology rulers, I always recommend just buying yardage and cutting it yourself, because then you have perfectly accurate pieces. But if you want of course, the ease and the variety of pre-cuts, like the charm squares and the layer cakes, either one works. Whatever you work more with. I wouldn't recommend just kind of stocking up on those just to stock up on those. Buy what you like. Because even if you can get a layer cake or a 5-inch square pack for a really great price, if you don't love it, you're not going to enjoy creating with it. Does that make sense?
What's the name of the square?
What's the name of the square totes again? Okay, I'm going to do the overhead and then just show them this label. So this is how it looks. The carton storage, it's easy storage is on the red button, and then carton storage container. What I like too is that you can stack them and they kind of nest together so they don't slide off. The lids they tuck a little bit, so it's great. I've actually used the lids too. You know, if I'm putting together a block and I have to line things up, it's great. It has a little ridge. so yeah, just talk about double use of things. You know, it works. Carol says, we were all dying to see Mr. Honey Producer. Great to meet him. All right, good. Now you met him. All right. Any other questions on my setup? It's great. I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. I saw everybody. We have people from the UK. It's late over there, so great to see you guys. I saw Iceland in the house. I saw Jody from Costa Rica. I saw Canada. So great to have everybody. Luann says, what beginner quilt pattern do you recommend for Paris bundle? Oh, if you a beginning pattern, I would say Teen Spirit. Always successful. Great to use up large scale prints. That would be fabulous in Paris. Yes. Okay. All right. So Mary says, I went out and got 4 to 6 of the totes when you mentioned them before. Love them. All I could ever find before was cardboard. Yeah, and I had found before some like real fancy like scrapbooking totes that were like 12 inches, so they were just a little too big and too expensive. I mean, these are like $3, $2 or $3.
What do you store your 5-inch squares in?
What do I store my 5-inch squares in? Yeah, now you got to go again. You got to go get those little boxes. No, they're on the other end, above, on the shelf above the 10-inch. There, yeah. So they are, I think these are craft Oh, these I got online somewhere. I got them from my distributor. Oh, Art Bin. Art Bin. They're perfect for 5-inch squares. So they have a big lid, and they really close well. They also nest on top of each other. So they're Art Bin. I don't remember what they're called, but Art Bin, ARTBIN. I believe I got them online somewhere. So they're great, and I organize them kind of separated by color. And if you have, fewer of each color, you can always use those cardboard separators inside. They would fit in there. All right. Jane says Target also has some that are room essentials. They look the same. Only 2 of the larger size on my Target yesterday. Ooh. Hope they restock. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. And I've been having fun seeing other people's places.
You like your bungee chair?
Do I like my bungee chair? So I just got my bungee chair. I don't know yet. The problem is it doesn't go quite as high as I need it to go. So since my Solaris, I'm sewing with it on top of a sewing table that normally the machine would go into, and I have the extended table, which I love. I need to sit higher. So I am just sitting on actually a counter height stool, because I really don't I don't lean back ever or anything, so I just need a stool. So I've just used that. Now what I really want to try is sitting on one of those yoga ball stools, because that's really all I need is a stool. I tried the saddle stools, and it was awkward for me. I don't know, it's because I'm short, but it was awkward for me with my legs and sitting on the saddle chair. So yeah, I'm weird. So I'm still testing it out. But the bungee chair works, the height works for my Singer 301, so that table. And so I've been using it for that. And I like it for that. I really do. I really do like it.
What do you use to store your patterns? The computer or your brain?
What do I use to store my patterns? Here. That was a good question. She said, what do you use to store your patterns, your computer or your brain? So yeah, it's here, but I do have, you saw some cabinets. I had shelves open on the top and then closed on the bottom. Inside there I have like books, and I have pattern storage. So I just have the file folders that are open, and I kind of stick them in there. And I do have a full inventory downstairs. So if I need one of my patterns and I can't find it anywhere in here, it's easy to go get one. Okay, Judy's asking, when you buy yardage, how many yards do you buy? When I am shopping, if I don't have anything specific, I just see something I like. I love grabbing fat quarters, but if I'm buying off the bolt, I never buy less than a half yard. If it's really cool fabric, I buy a yard. But if it's something that I know I'm going to use for a background or something, or maybe a backing, something really, really cool, I buy 5 yards. 5 yards is my key number. Where did I get my bungee chair? That is what is it called? The storage store? Oh, container store. The container store. I'm bad with names. And he's no help. He's bad. He's worse. Everything is what's a name.
What's the name?
Yeah, so Kim says, try the Aero sewing chair. I'm short and it works great for me. I'll have to look that up. Okay, Ella Lou says she has a yoga stool and it's awesome. So that's the ball, right? I want to really try that because I love that. Julie says the problem with the yoga ball is you can't move it up and down. Yeah, that would be a problem for me too, because I usually like to sit a little bit higher than most people. So, love my koala chairs. I tried a koala chair, I didn't like it. So, what is, that's the saddle chair. Yeah, so I didn't like the saddle chair. He likes it. He has, because that can go really high, but I just didn't like sewing on it because of that stuff between your legs. Yeah, I'm weird. Anyways, it'll come. I'll find the perfect one that works for me. How do you store fat quarters? You might have seen that I have the clear tubs, also Target, with a white lid, that I have my fat quarters in, organized by color. It was kind of towards the end of the shelving unit, so I have them in those tubs, but there's a whole shelf full of fat quarters now that I need more tubs, or I need some organizing time. But Yes, and those tubs are always full because I want them to be always full. Yes, I need to have my fat quarter stash at all times. Stand by. Okay, so many quilts call for 6.5 yards. I'm always short. If you buy 5, what do you do if a pattern calls for more? So that's me. So if I rarely make a king size quilt. Honestly, for me, if you do a lot of bigger quilts, I would just buy 8 yards. You know, if you do a lot of king size or queen size quilts and you use a lot of backgrounds. For me, 5 yards is usually enough background for a background fabric because I like a lot of fabrics in it. Now, if you were going to use just 2 fabrics in a quilt, you probably would need more than 5 for a king size quilt. But I like variety. So background, usually 5 yards will get you there. But some probably don't, especially if you're doing some kind of a sampler or something like that. So I would probably buy a little more if that was the size of quilt that I would normally make. But I normally make smaller because that's a great sample size for patterns and pattern covers and yeah, to travel with. So is there a quilting fairy that will come during the night and organize my sewing area? Well, there are people that really love that kind of stuff. So maybe if you have sewing friends, maybe there's one that just loves that. I know I have a very good friend that actually has worked for me for a very long time, and she just loves folding fabric. So if I didn't enjoy it too, I probably would have her come and do it. But you might have a friend that would come and help out. Because it's overwhelming. I understand it can be overwhelming. Just do one shelf at a time, one little piece at a time, one tub at a time. If your fabric is in tubs, do one tub at a time. And I didn't show you, I have like a basket of, you know, when I'm having leftovers from a project and I've told you that I cut them into the strips and the squares and all that stuff and then I store it in my things. But, you know, I don't cut it after each and every project. So they kind of stack up in this little bin or basket. So when the basket is full, it's time to cut. And it doesn't take me long. It takes me 20, 30 minutes max to cut it up and put it away. Sometimes, yes, I cut it up and don't put it away. As you saw, it was like stuff sitting on top of them. But then you just do it once the basket is full. And it's just so rewarding to kind of clear that clutter. And then you have those pieces in usable shapes that you can just go and play with. Do I use wide backing leftovers for piecing? It depends on what it is. I don't use a whole lot of wide backs. Sometimes I do if it's really pretty and I am short on time. I love to piece my backs, but most times if you have leftovers from a backing, so I have a separate basket, leftovers that come back from the long armor and you have like 10, 15 inch by really wide, that gets folded up and put in that basket, because sometimes when I'm piecing a quilt back and it would maybe be okay to use 2 lengths, but it's missing 10 inches. Those little pieces are perfect to use up in when I piece the backs. So I have a separate back leftover bin that I love to go to when I'm piecing a back, because those get reused. So yes, it's like double, triple use. You used it to piece a back. It comes back from the long armor. It's still left over. It gets used in the next one and possibly the next one. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
If you buy a jelly roll, you take it apart and put it in one of your containers.
Great question. If you buy a jelly roll, do you take it apart and put it in your bins? No, I don't do that. So first off, I don't really buy jelly rolls. I cut them myself or pull them out of my strip bins because I got a lot. But I don't even do that for charm packs or layer cakes. So I wait until I'm going to use it. And I usually use, you know, most of it, at least half. But then the rest goes in the bins after I use it. And so then I can also pull from the bins to accent what I'm using. So not until I'm going to sew with it. So I leave them as they are. They're also so pretty. They're so pretty in the rolls. I leave them like that until I'm ready to use it. And then right away, it gets put in the bins.
Miss Penny White, she uses a drum stool for the music store.
A drum stool? Yeah, I actually saw one of his drum stools that I thought, I need to try that. Because those go up and down. And so he might all of a sudden not have a drum stool in his studio. Just wait. I'll give you a little sneak peek when I steal it. All right. Do we have any more questions on the studio? I think we're good, right? I wanted to show you give you some updates on the new fabric. I did post in the crew that we got Stratosphere, Merci Paris, the Paris fabric back, and Village Pond. Now, it may be gone already, but I think we still had a few left, at least this morning. And I have a couple of new ones that are here. We have a lot of fabric coming, hopefully tomorrow and right away next week. So I will definitely have some more to show you on Tuesday. I also had a fabric appointment with my Moda rep yesterday and saw some amazing stuff coming. There's some awesome bundles coming. And we are working on, just wanted to tell you that I've been looking into ways of, because you've been asking me so much if you can pre-order bundles. And like, you know that we have Tula Pink lines coming and things that you know that is coming and you know you want it. And so I'm working on that. We're working on that. We just have to have it work seamlessly in our website so you can place the order and pay for it. And then as soon as it gets there, it will be shipped to you, and we wouldn't have any delays in that process. And also some perks if you do pre-order, so then we can kind of gauge how much interest is in that product. But we have 2 new ones. And so if you grew up in the 70s, if you were a flower child, I know many of you were. My parents were, of course. I was born in the 70s, so I didn't really live them. I was a child. But I love those photos of those great floral shirts. I actually remember Mom had a shirt that I stole when I was a teenager, and I used it all the time, and I'm so bummed that I don't have it anymore. I don't have no idea where it was. It was like one of those, I don't know, they were probably called something, and I don't remember what it was. But those shirts that had kind of like a cut down neck, very florally, and they had the really wide sleeves. And kind of like it came down to, so you could wear it like as a dress or just a shirt with bell bottoms. And so this line reminds me of that. So it's called Flower Child. It's from Louis and Irene, of course. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I want to show you on the overhead. We have, it's just, I love it. It's like you get the sense of that era, that florals, those 70s florals, but it's just done so well. It doesn't like take you back in a bad way. It's just in a really good way. I love these trees. Here's another colorway, and it's got it just has that flower power to it, but still done so well. So very beautiful colors without being too screamingly bright. Just love this piece here. And then it just, the colors connect really well. You know, we have all the colors, but they really have a way of connecting them well, and they blend well too. So love this print. And then they have this curry mustard yellow that I just love, and it just plays really well with the turquoise, the teals. And we have this one again in the gold.
Angel sleeves.
Angel sleeves, thank you. You probably wore those. I loved that. And I think we were just playing with it, and somebody just accidentally took it home, and I never saw it again. So this is the full line. One more. So this is it's a 15-piece collection, so I couldn't leave anyone out. So we kept it at 15 versus our normal 12 SKUs. But I love this, and I think this would make such a fun flower child quilt for anybody. I just think it would be really fun for young girls too, even current today. My daughter loves it, so really pretty. And then the other one we have, and I got these up on the website already, and we're getting more of this. So since you all love Stratosphere so much, I think this is great. It's another kind of a basic from Studio E. It's called Prismachrome, but it's these really organic brush strokes, kind of like acrylic brush strokes. And we have 3 neutrals, and then all these amazing colors, really bright, really saturated. So these are just perfect accents for anything. If you like really cool fabrics, and they're so artsy too. I just love that. And so not necessarily to use all of them in one quilt, but they are just so great and a perfect description of the stash builder. So have some of these in your stash. Great for accents for other stuff. And I just love them. Here's especially this one, this bright red pink. So aren't these great? So this is a bundle with 12 and called Prismachrome. Really fun stuff. And artsy brush strokes. That's hard to say for some reason. All right, so we are going to have our giveaway a little bit different right now. We're not going to have a question. We're going to actually just pull a live winner because I felt like it. We're not going to have a question. So Mr. Honey Producer has used the random generator and pulled a winner of a $25 gift card to go shopping in the GE store. Oh, the winner is Tina Allen. Tina, congratulations. We will try and contact you if you see this. If you're watching, you should be. We pulled from the live comments. So please contact us. Contact me via my email or through Messenger on Facebook, and we will get you the gift card to use in the GE Design store. So now I just wanted to finish things off today. I really have enjoyed our time together, and like I said, this is called Happy Friday. It should always be Happy Friday. I want to thank all of you that have reached out via Messenger, sent me messages, personal messages, and emails about the turmoil that's going on in our city here in Minneapolis. And of course, things happened, drastic things happened earlier in the week that really, really shook me to my core. Yes, thank you for all your concerns. We are okay. We're physically okay. Mentally and emotionally, not so much. It's really shook me to my core. And so it's hard. I have always had a real kind of streak through me as a proponent, just justice, equality, and that's just something I strive for. That's something I do in my philanthropy work. And so, and as you know, the love of my life is a Black man. So it's tough. It's tough. It's something that is not just a one incident that happened this week where a Black man was killed, was murdered. This has been going on for decades, of course, if you ask any Black American. And there's no way for us to put ourselves in that situation. But this is something that we live every day, and we have to be better. And I just want to say one thing. I love quilters, and I think I've talked about this multiple times about quilters. It's the best industry and the best community to be in, because I love coming into a classroom of 30 quilters, and I see people, students in my class, both genders, ranging in age from 20s to 90. And ranging in, we can be all from different countries, from different walks of life, from different careers with different levels of education. But we all come together in a classroom, and we can all be super excited about the same piece of fabric or something that we're working on, and be excited about creating something together. And I think it's the kindest, all of those notions, all those outside things, as far as color of your skin, where you're from, what's your background, it goes away because we come together on a human level, on something that we all love. And quilters are also so generous. I think most of us have given our quilts away, if not all of us. If you've ever made a quilt, you've given it away. And so we have big hearts. And so I think if I want to say anything, we just need to stand up. We need to stand up when we see injustice and when we see something. So not turn our heads and not turn away because it's not in your community or not right in front of your eyes or happening in your neighborhood right now. But if you see something, you have to say something and build those up that have been feeling it for decades and discriminated against. So that's all I want to say. Other than that, I want to keep it light. We're okay. I'm just going to sew, and that's going to make me feel better. But on that note, happy Friday. This is going to help. And I will see you next Tuesday. Tuesday will be exciting because I'm launching my brand new patterns. You finally get to see the 2 new ones. 2 new girls joining the club of all my patterns. And I can't wait to show you and show you the cool stuff, how they're made. And I'll, of course, be here next Friday, too, at 3 p.m. But until then, stay safe, keep sewing, put a smile on. Thanks, everybody.